do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on these markets. I see so much negative sentiment out there in crypto land right now. And I'm sure that most people that have been here for more than a handful of years can attest that this happens time and time again. You have to be willing to battle your brain, and you have to be willing to not drown in your own sorrows across crypto Twitter, because it literally is going to do nothing for you. Right now, we are in, I believe, again, one of the most monumental opportunity timeframes that exists for us as human beings. And this, I know a lot of people don't like the 4-year cycle stuff, but we are in another downtrodden, really boring, nothing's happening time frame where everybody is whining, or a lot of people are whining. And whining, I will tell you, will not generate a plan for yourself. Whining's not going to get you out of, I made shitty decisions 4 years ago, so I'm making better decisions now. Whining, if you do it publicly, is not, nobody's going to come and be like, you know what, I'm really going to help you out here, and I'm going to do all this work for you. That's not going to happen. Literally, there's a handful of months, and we're right in the middle of it right now, where the opportunities are so monumental that to not be battling your brain and getting a plan for yourself and making moves and positioning yourself would be a gigantic mistake. And you will be sitting here 4 years from now saying the same thing that you're saying right now. Nothing's happening. This is nonsense. The whole market's a scam, everything else. I can see it. It is literally a battle of attrition in this space, and it happens every single time. If you don't believe me, and I don't talk about TA, I'm not a TA guy, but you can look at a simple chart. This is on the monthly. You have the 50 and 21 EMA, and I'm sure people are going to say I have the wrong EMAs pulled up, and I don't care. I'm trying to present a point. This happens every single handful of years, every 4 years. January of 2015, we touch base on this bottom line here, and we stay there. We dip below it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and then the market takes off again. 18. We touch the line, we go below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and the market takes off again. Double dip here, the market takes off again. 2022, the same thing happened. A little bit longer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and the market takes off again. Well, where are we at right now? We are literally in the midst of the same thing that we see every 4 years in crypto. Everybody says it's dead. And yes, it may go lower, and who cares if it goes lower, because again, you can see what happens. And until it doesn't happen, and hey, maybe it doesn't happen. This is not financial advice. Stuff can change. Maybe things go horribly wrong. I've literally, in the past month, we've seen videos that Bitcoin is crashing to zero. Guess what was happening 4 years ago? Videos that Bitcoin was crashing to zero. Guess what was happening at market cycle tops? This time is different. BlackRock is here. Franklin Templeton is here. Well, this time was different in 2021 when we peaked as well. This time was different in late 2017, January 2018, when everything peaked as well. It is like the powers that be, even though we're sitting there being like, oh, these markets are so manipulated, we're like surprised that we fall into the same mind trap by the powers that be that are letting ourselves be manipulated by them time and time and time again. Don't be a sheep when it comes to what is going on in this space. We should have all seen enough by now to realize that the largest players on planet Earth are already here. Like literally, I'm not grifting with saying this. Like you can go look it up. Every single banking entity, every government entity, they're all here. All of the money is, like, without me saying that as like a cliche, is quite literally going to move on top of distributed ledger technology rails. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And for us to give up right now, for us to get pissed off about short-term price action, for us to whine and moan on crypto Twitter and not be excited at the monumental opportunity, let alone the other markets that are being affected by this, let alone the ability to not even like potentially make gains on these digital assets, but to have the ability to actually earn like yield from like real world assets coming on chain and leveraging your assets just like the ultra wealthy already do. The 1% are already doing this in traditional finance. We, as the plebs out there that like literally maybe have like $1,000 in our bank accounts, like we have the opportunities through this technology to participate in the same exact things that the ultra wealthy are participating in. And yeah, I understand it's volatile right now and it's not where it needs to be. And there's, you know, all sorts of people that are like advocating for like lending against your digital assets and borrowing against your digital assets. I still think it's too volatile right now. But obviously that is the future that we are headed towards. And that is the, like, I believe the end game is where I won't have to sell XRP or HBAR or Solana or whatever quant, whatever asset I pick. I will literally be able to leverage it. Guys, like literally right now, I know that people are pissed off. There was a guy that like on under my comments for today's announcement of the XRPL permission DEX upgrade that just went live. XLS 80, what was it? I forget which one it was. XLS 80, let's see, 81 permission DEX. You know, this opens up the door, and we've talked about this across networks like Canton, and even in the R3 interview, I learned that Solana has extensions that essentially bring privacy. Hedera's hash spheres, XDC's XDC 2.0. Every network has an iteration of a more compliant private environment. And I'm sure that there's uniqueness within the XRPL as well. But at the end of the day, what this does is this breaks down one more area of red tape for institutional onboarding and enterprise onboarding, because you could argue, yes, it's just a silo, but it's on chain. But that's kind of the point. They can do this in a compliant environment and they can get used to the technology so that as regulatory clarity comes to fruition, things just get that much easier to bridge over. It's like literally the same, kind of the same point of the R3 interview that I did a couple of days ago. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about like all these news announcements really today, because the whole point here is, again, we are in the time frame that everybody says is boring, but the opposite thing that you should be doing right now is like literally you should be battling your brain and saying, I understand that I'm bored, but I cannot be bored right now, because if I look historically at what has happened every other time the masses in crypto have been bored, there's only a handful of months and then it ends up going to where it goes again. If I look at all of the times that the masses and the content that went viral in crypto is geopolitical drama or stupid narratives from stupid influencers who are literally just trying to get clicks and likes. And I don't care if this video gets one like and one person decides to stop moaning and whining and complaining about what's going on and to actually set a plan for themselves, then this video is literally worth doing. Because it happens time and time again. We and all of us fall privy to this. And it's so easy to fall under this spell of, yes, we know that this stuff is manipulated. And yes, we know that, you know, all of this stuff is coming to fruition. If that's the case and we know it's manipulated, how do we let ourselves become manipulated every single few years by the narratives that crypto is going to zero, or by the narrative at the top that this time is different? So I don't know, guys. Don't be bored right now. Set a plan for yourself right now. This is mirroring similar things to the past. And yes, I understand macroeconomic conditions affect crypto, whatever. But at the end of the day, crypto obviously is still a high risk asset. If crypto is crypto is a high risk asset, crypto as a whole, to put into perspective, has way below the market cap of one company, and that's NVIDIA, or at least it did a couple of months ago. So literally you have a high risk asset class that its entirety is sitting below the market cap of one organization. Okay, well then why is BlackRock, why is Franklin Templeton, why is DTCC, why is NASDAQ, why is the New York Stock Exchange, why is Bank for International Settlements, Bank of England, why is the Fed, why is every single entity on planet Earth adopting blockchain and distributed ledger technology without talking about that publicly? Why don't we see news not about what Bitcoin is doing, going down in price action per month, or what XRP is doing, or whatever some random asset is doing, because it's the polarizing news? Why aren't they informing the people of the actual real world adoption that's happening under the hood? This is the this is the worst time to be bored and to wallow in your own decisions that you might have made 4 years ago. Because if you're wallowing right now in your decisions that you made a few years ago and you're not doing something different, the definition of insanity, like literally addiction 101, right, is doing the same thing time and time again and expecting different results. You will be sitting 4 years from now with your hands over your eyes being like, oh, why did I, go around the carousel for 4 years without doing something different? This is the time to do something different. This is the time right now to have a plan fortified. There is still time right now to have a plan fortified. How many times do you see every time that prices start taking off? I mean, literally like clockwork. I remember being, we go around to local shops and stuff like that. And I BS with some of the owners, and every single, this has happened this has happened 4 years ago. It happened 4 years before that. I get asked about Bitcoin and crypto when Bitcoin's already above $100,000. Every single time I say, you should have asked about that when Bitcoin was at, whatever it dropped down to here, 14K or whatever it was. I forget what it was. Yeah, 16K. I thought it went closer to 14. You should have asked about it then. And watch what's happening right now. Everybody's telling you, and you're seeing all across the board that it's dead. And hey, maybe it does die. Maybe I'm wrong. But I can go by previous cycles. This is why last year, it felt like we had more adoption than ever, but there was too many people saying that this time is different. And normally when you have that many people saying that this time is different, they are wrong and it's not different at all. And then you sit out there and look and you're like, oh yeah, well, yeah, there's 20 million tokens. Maybe things were oversaturated. We don't even have clear-cut regulatory clarity yet. This time wasn't different at all. Now, where things have 1000% changed compared to prior cycles hasn't been price action or manipulation. It's been real world adoption under the hood. And make no mistake about it, these big entities, the BlackRocks, Franklin Templetons of the world, they have enough money to do whatever they want to these markets because they can literally control them as long as they want to. Obviously, you have to dangle the carrot. You would imagine that the carrot needs dangled so that we still maintain some positivity until they're ready for these markets to do whatever they're going to do and for the adoption to actually occur. But guys, we got to use a little bit of common sense here. I know I mentioned some of the stuff coming down the pipeline. And again, the whole purpose of this is not to sound pissed off. I know I haven't done a pissed off video in a while. I used to scream bullishness during them. Literally, look, if you can't see by zooming out, and I'm not a TA guy by any means, if you can't see similarities for right here, right here, right here, right here, and right where we're at right now, you don't need to have any sort of doctorate and technical analysis to understand maybe stuff does go to zero because it's all risky. But if it doesn't go to zero, it sure looks a heck of a lot like what happened a few years ago. And what happened after it happened a few years ago? The same stuff that happens time and time again. Do not get caught with your pants down and have a plan. And sorrow and boredom is not a plan. As I close out here, you can check out this article on XRPL. The new XRP ledger upgrade was just activated, permission trading for institutions. This is a very big deal. I did an interview with Dovu, not sponsored by Dovu, but obviously Genfinity has a media relationship in Hedera. These guys, I would say, are one of a very short list of projects. Obviously, a lot of amazing builders on Hedera, but a short list of projects that have garnered real world adoption. And through Rice University, the carbon methodology that B Carbon had put out was just verified as of last week. And you have Veterans Carbon Holdings. I forget what state it is. I want to say North Dakota. $1 billion worth of carbon assets coming to Hedera Network. And the great thing about this, which I should have mentioned in my post here, the goal of this is hopefully for farmers that are participating in the program to get up to, in total, I guess the romanticized view is $600 million for United States farmers, which is cool. Awesome to see Solana sharing the R3 interview that I did last week and posted Tuesday. I also saw a lot of negative posts around that. I know that we have like 6-year-old documents from Solana or from R3 as far as XRP is concerned. Look, I didn't ask about XRP. Whenever you do, like when I did an interview with R3, you have to like screen questions. I went of my own volition and cold called R3 to get into an interview here. And it actually took probably 2 to 2.5 months to set up. I didn't find out about the Solana stuff until a lot of it until like researching for the questions. So like about a week and a half before the interview. But that being said, like maybe XRP is used in some way, shape, or form. I didn't get into that, nor was I going to ask a question like that whenever everything that Solana is doing or everything that R3 is doing right now is leading up to bridging over Corda onto Solana mainnet. So like that would have been a really kind of dumb and inappropriate question to ask, and it probably wouldn't have gotten through anyways. I did an interview with probably a lot of people in XRP land, and others have seen this. This is not sponsored. I was not paid to do this interview. I was reached out by, this is just a, like, look, real quick as a sidebar. When you look at something like this, like for the past month, Bitcoin's down 28%, Ethereum's down 39%, BNB's down 34%. You could probably, again, go back to this. And you look, it looks very similar to the giant red candles that have occurred previously, right? But anyways, I have a Caleb and Brown interview that I'm going to release tomorrow. So this is going to be about crypto brokerage. This is this was not paid for. This is not sponsored. They reached out to me, and I'm interested in learning more. I do think things like this are very important for kind of mass adoption. Actually, the guy from Caleb and Brown brought up a good point. And his like personal thoughts were like diversification of custodianship, which I totally agree with. I'm not advocating for Caleb and Brown here. I'm just saying he basically said like just another way to custody assets, which I do agree with. I mean, I brought up in that interview the fact that in the past 2 weeks I got one of those ledger things in the mail that's like, hey, yeah, Ledger's integrating this new security practice and scan this barcode, and don't do it, obviously, if you get that because it's a scam. But anyways, this interview will go out tomorrow. There is a cross-chain AI panel interview that is not released yet. That will go out to Genfinity. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The Dovu interview I talked about, R3 interview I talked about. I was followed by the former CEO of MoneyGram, or Genfinity was followed by the former CEO of MoneyGram today. So I'm going to try to get that interview. So I commented underneath, and obviously Genfinity has a media relationship with an Algorand. So make sure you're doing your own due diligence. But there's like this new kind of council within Algorand of like industry leaders, and the reply guy stuff on X does work sometimes, and you like end up getting opportunities, which I guess falls in line too with, not giving up or whatever. But you can go and check out a lot of stuff. I didn't even go through AI and MCP servers reshaping crypto and AI. Phantom Wallet in Solana I saw has like a fully agentic instance now where like wallets basically do things on behalf of people. You can read that article. Hedera at Davos I didn't get through yet. I already talked about the CFTC stuff. Oh yeah, I did. Did I? Yeah, yesterday I talked about HederaCon and how Ripple's going to be there, as well as DTCC and others. So I don't have a whole lot else to talk about other than like literally the whole purpose of this video is to have a plan. Feeling sorry for yourself doesn't normally change things in your life. I think most of you guys probably know I am like a hardcore alcoholic and kind of an asshole. But I mean, I felt sorry for myself while I was drinking, but I was still doing it. I mean, most of you guys probably remember sitting out on the front porch here. But the only way to change it was to actually change it. And you'd be amazed what happens like if you stop feeling sorry for yourself and you decide not to give up on yourself and you make a small change. And it has to be a small change because sometimes that's all that's possible is a very small change. But a small change that you decide to make in an instant, and you decide to live that change minute to minute, that small change can cascade Just like Bearable Guy, right? And you see like the snowball rolling down the hill. It's literally the same thing with deciding to change your life. Like, it doesn't happen instantaneously. It happens through sticking a flag in the ground and not feeling sorry for yourself and deciding that you're going to do something different, but you're not just doing it as an exercise. You're doing it because this is who you are now. You're becoming a different person. I just think there's so much opportunity right now. I didn't mean to like go on down a personal journey here. But it is true. I mean, at the end of the day, giving up on yourself is no good. It's not going to get you anywhere. And that correlates exactly to, you know, feeling sorry for yourself about decisions that you made or didn't make. Well, if you feel sorry for yourself about a decision you didn't make or did make, that doesn't change the fact that you did or didn't make that decision. It just makes you're literally wasting more time. Stop wasting time. We don't know if we have another second on this earth. If you want to make changes, make changes. This is a monumental opportunity, at least in my opinion, and obviously not financial advice. We are in, you know, a handful of times in history in the crypto markets. You're in one of them right now. Literally only a handful of times this has happened before, and it's happening right now in front of our very eyes. Everybody's saying the same stuff that they always say. All of the sheep are falling for it, you and I included. So let's not be sheep. Let's wake up. Let's not be bored. Let's set a plan. Let's not give up on ourselves, and let's do something different about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you different video, but I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Thanks. Bye.